This is God of Ashes bringing you a video on my Magicka Templar for PvP. I am rocking only 1630 Magicka recovery, 1745 spell damage with my staff equipped, and 1685 to 2221 spell damage for my dual swords. I have all my points in the Magicka. I'm running Tri-Stat Max Food V15. I went with Imperial because I originally made this character for stamina based, but he now become Magicka based, which is great because I get bonus to health, I get bonus to stamina, which is awesome. For my boon, I went with Acronauts. The reason why I went with this is because more sustain. This build's all about having Magicka recovery and not running out of Magicka. You do more than enough damage as a Magicka Templar with 2.2k spell damage, more than enough, and that's unbuffed. Buffed, you're looking at 6700, 6800 after everything's said and done. So your DPS is definitely way up there. Now for my inventory, for my sets, I went with 5-piece Kaggernaut's Hope, 3-piece Willpower, and 2-piece Falcon Scoria, and my weapon being 2-piece Torogs, and then my staff doesn't matter. As you see, you get no bonus for that. So I get the Falcon Scoria, both heavy pieces. You can go one medium, one heavy. I went with 2 heavy because that's all I can get to drop is heavy pieces. And besides that, you also get, you're more tanky with heavy pieces. It's a very reliable build. It does a lot of good damage in PvP. You can get your 5-piece Kagernauts. You want all divines. Make sure you Kuda everything with maximum Magicka. For my glyphs, I went with Reduce and Recovery. My 2 rings is healthy, and I have more than enough sustain to make sure everything's good. For my skills on my double swords, I went with Shooting Star for my ultimate, so that I get my ultimate back faster and I can cast it more often. Dark Flare, this is going to be a great way to deal out massive damage. It does, with only 2200 damage, it does 8.7k, and it also reduces any healing they receive. So it's an awesome skill to have. It also grants you Empower, which makes your next attack do 20% more damage. Well, with Radiant Oppression, it does additional damage to the proportion of your Magicka, and your Magicka pretty much always stays full. Radiant Oppression will proc your Meteor, so it's really great. You can spam it, or you can spam Dark Flare. I believe that this bar is pretty solid for PvP. You could switch it around a little bit, maybe change this to Breath of Life, or change this to Breath of Life, or you could take off Dark Flare and maybe put something else. Vampire's Bane, I went with Reduced. Vampire's Bane, I went with Vampire's Bane instead of Mage's Light because I still get my spell critical rating, and I don't have to worry about anything as far as like my maximum Magicka above 5%. I ain't too worried about that at all. It does massive damage, and it also does a dot, which is going to proc my Falcon Scoria. In Trophy also procs your Falcon Scoria, gives you health back, and it grants you Sorcery, which lasts for 20 seconds. And then because of the passives under your Mage Guild, it also makes your next attack do 20% damage, same as Dark Flare. And then the Javelin I went with because this is going to keep enemies away from you. And I went with the one that increased damage because it's Magicka based, and I'm a Magicka Templar. Also, it does increase damage based on how far they are from you. So the farther, the better. And it knocks them back. It CCs them for at least 2 seconds. There's a great way to get some massive damage. You pop your spear on them in Trophy, Vampire's Bane, a couple of Dark Flares, and they're already at half health, and you finish them off with Radiant Oppression. They're dead before they can even do anything. It's a really great combination. It fucks people up. Now for my Restoration Staff, I went with Breath of Life, Ward Ally. You could go with Healing Ward here. It might be a better choice, especially if you're trying to do like 1v1s or something like that. But this character is not necessarily made for 1v1s. This is more of a Zerg kind of build, but you can absolutely wreck shit in 1v1 as well. Even 1v3, I've been able to handle my own. Toppling Charge. The Restoration Staff is for getting in their face. If they're like a rogue with a bow, you want to get up close and personal with them. You do not want to have a ranged fight with them. You want to get up and close personal with them and CC the hell out of them while they try to escape. That's when you switch to your range and you get back on top of them. So you'll be rotating your bars constantly. Puncturing Sweeps is a dot. A lot of people don't realize this, but it's going to pop your Falcon Scoria. And then Puncturing Sweeps also keeps you heal, which is great for like 1v3s and stuff. For my ultimate, I want a Remembrance. It's a low-cost ultimate that you can get constantly. It grants you, it makes you tankier as you cast it, and it gives you a lot of health really fast, and you ain't gonna worry about dying. It's a great reset, basically, if you get in one of those oh shit moments. You're gonna want to put all your passes into all 3 of your main trees. Your passes for dual wield, you want the second one, the fourth one, and the fifth one all max. As you can see, that this is going to increase my damage on my offhand. This is going to increase my damage to any stunned people, and this is just going to increase my spell damage, period. Alright, and then for the rest of staff, same thing, all your passes, and then your ward ally, or you can go with healing ward, either or is fine. I like ward ally because of the simple fact that it's always guaranteed to cast on me no matter what, which is mainly the reason why I'm casting it in PvP, is because I need it for myself. If you use Healing Ward, it's going to cast the lowest target every single time, so it's not guaranteed to proc on you, which means that could, that could cost you a fight. So if you go with this, it's a much better choice. You want all your passes and all your light, medium, and heavy, so that you can, if you're using the Undaunted, you get the most out of your pieces. All your passes in Soul Magic, all your passes in Fighter's Guild, all your passes in Mage Light, of course in Trophy Mage Light and Shooting Star. You want all your passes in Assault, all your passes in Support, and all your skill passes. Britain or High Elf would be the better choice for this, but definitely make sure you get all your passes. This build is all about your passes. Now, your champion points, you're going to want to basically put 1 point into everything that you can afford. Because even 1% like on, like this doesn't really matter. But I went with 32 in Magician, because after that it just doesn't exactly, it gives you 0.1%. My champion points can go better off anywhere else. As you see, I only have like 150 champion points, so this is definitely, I'm lacking champion points. So put 1 into that until I get this to 10%. Once you get your Magicka recovery to increase by 10%, you could take off your, start putting into tenacity, and you'll do tenacity until 10%, and then once those are both 10%, then you can stack everything into Magician, and that will, this is the way to go. And then you could take down your recovery and start putting on spell damage glyphs and doing more damage that way. That way you maintain your stuff. Now for the mage thing, I went with 27 and crit and 27 into spell erosion. That gets me right at 10% on each, which I believe is great, because now I have 10% more damage dealt for crits, and I have 10%, basically more damage with spell penetration. For this, I put 1 point into each of these, basically just to get the passive of having 1% extra bonus. Same thing for this, 1 point into each. I stacked 15 into that and 32 into that. Really, it doesn't matter where you put your points at in this. You could put, it honestly doesn't matter. This champion tree is flexible. It's the other 2 champion points or champion trees that really matter. And I mean, I guess that's pretty much it for my build. With this, I'll show you what it is buffed. I'm gonna just buff myself, and so y'all can see my stats. There we go. I'm at 2776 spell damage, and like I said, about 2800 spell damage, and it gets you, exactly where you need to be at. Has more than enough damage to take out just about anybody. So thank you for watching God of Ashes build on my Magicka based Templar. Be sure to thumbs up, smash that thumbs up, that like button if you enjoyed the video. If you have any suggestions, I am more than open to any suggestions. I will take them. And if you have anything, just feel free to ask. PSN is God of Ashes. I am more than willing to craft you gear. I could do 6 traits or 5 traits light right now, 6 trait heavy, 6 trait heavy weapons, 7 traits medium, and 8 traits in some pieces in medium, and then 8 pieces in woodworking with 9 trait on lightning staff. If you ever need anything, let me know. I'd be more than happy to craft you anything or help you out in any way, shape, or form. Be sure once again to hit that like button, subscribe, as I'll be bringing you more videos on builds, PvP, boss mechanics, whatever you need. You have any suggestions, you want anything, let me know. I'll find out the answer and I'll figure it out for you, okay? Alright, thank you for watching. Y'all have a wonderful day.